This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. Yesterday, Chief Sussex propagandist Jack Royston, who I called the Ferret, gaslighted all of social media with his podcasts and the article that he wrote about the Sussex Squad. Using a quote from a PR expert, Jack Royston headlines this article, "Prince Harry and Meghan fans are a danger." 6 years into this, and this is now becoming a revelation, I don't buy into it. Let's take a look at what he had to say. Oh, this is rich. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle supporters are part of an army of people on social media driving conspiracy theories about Princess Catherine and are a danger to truth, a PR expert has told Newsweek. You think? Well, first off, let's correct this misleading article. It's not an army. They are a legit online cyber terrorist organization that is pretty much classified as an online militia. How about we get our facts straight, Jack? Some conspiracies about Catherine and her marriage to Prince William have been pushed on X, formerly Twitter, by accounts that support Harry and Meghan, boozy, raising questions about whether the actions of grassroots fans could damage the Sussexes. Oh, no, they're not grassroots. They are funded by Meghan and Harry themselves. So this is not an organic thing. These fans are paid people that are carrying out Meghan and Harry's wishes. Remember back in March when Catherine announced her cancer diagnosis coming forward as a result of all the other conspiracy theories that were being spread around by the Sussex Squad? Well, soon after that, there were more conspiracy theories that started to crop up as a result of doing the video. Many were saying that the video was AI, and then they started talking about Catherine's marriage, and this is the reason why she's not being seen. Well, in any case, mainstream media started to pick up on these conspiracy theories and started floating around that these conspiracy theories were tied to Russia and China. Now, we all know, we debunked that. We called out the Sussex Squad, but noticeably absent from contributing to the discussion around bots and Russia being behind this misinformation campaign about Catherine Middleton was Jack Royston and Newsweek. So you have to ask yourself this question: why now is Jack coming out and saying, well, the Sussex Squad, our source of all this misinformation, this could really hurt Meghan and Harry's brand if they don't stop? He chose to remain silent during that heightened period. You would think he would have wanted to jump on that because he jumps on everything else. In this article from yesterday, Jack Royston puts up the post to where the origins of these conspiracy theories had started. And I'm going to get back to this in a second, but I want you to hear from his own mouth what he had to say about the Sussex Squad and what it was doing to Meghan and Harry's brand. This little weasel has done a 180, and I'm going to call him out on it.
Now, Kate clearly is still alive. She clearly is not missing because here she is. We've all seen her. On Saturday, the whole world was able to see her, or at least anybody who should care to look. And she looked happy and healthy and surrounded by her family. So anyone continuing to claim it isn't Kate or simply pivoting to another offensive conspiracy theory isn't fooling anyone.
So, Jack, why didn't you call out your friend Boozy? The guy that you had on your podcast a couple times to discuss the Fugazi Bot Sentinel report of the single-purpose hate accounts against Meghan, which at the end of the day, Twitter did find no evidence of a coordinated campaign. Oh, did you forget that? Well, I'm here to remind you.
It's very obvious that the kind of public torture inflicted on Kate was not just factually wrong, but it was also morally wrong. And therefore, those people behind it should simply admit that and fess up and basically ask for forgiveness, I suppose.
I gotta pause this for a second. This really pisses me off. Can you believe what you just heard? This guy has some fucking nerve to be like, not only are they factually wrong, but they're morally wrong and they need to admit it and ask for forgiveness. Get the fuck out of here, Jack. Have you forgotten the role that you played in bullying a 65-year-old pensioner off various social media platforms? Not only were you factually wrong, but also morally wrong, but I don't see you begging for forgiveness of Yankee Wally. I'm sorry, but Jack is the last person that should be lecturing anybody about facts and morality.
And I think the difficulty here, there is, I think, a difficulty here for Harry and Meghan. Now, it's their fans, and it's not even all of their fans, it's just some of their fans, and it's not them. And I want to make it clear that I'm not accusing them of being behind this, but I think there is a way in which this could actually wind up. I personally think there's a way in which this could wind up reputationally damaging them.
What fucking planet are you on, Jack? The Sussex brand is damaged beyond repair. The Sussex Squad is their brand. What the fuck do you not understand, Jack?
Now, Meghan complained very vocally about the social media abuse she faced, particularly in 2019, and she said it was almost unsurvivable. And Harry and Meghan have made campaigning against misinformation and disinformation online a big part of their brand. But their own fan base, using accounts that have their names, you know, people who call themselves Duke and Dutch, Sussex, whatever, and often their photographs on their profile pictures have been inflicting basically misinformational warfare against Harry's sister-in-law. And Harry and Meghan have kind of stood by and watched it happen.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure out what Jack's angle is here on this, because it almost feels like Meghan put him up to gaslight the public. Nobody is buying any of this. And like, for him to say, oh yeah, Harry and Meghan kinda stood back and watched all of it. Kinda. No, they were behind it. They've been behind this for the last several years. And Jack, you have been a part of it. You've witnessed it. You've been in the thick of it. I mean, it was like literally 2 weeks ago. Jack was writing about his friends attacking John Lennon's son because he made a comment about Prince Harry. Jack, please don't play like you don't know.
And some might argue that the royals did the same thing to them. And I kind of understand that argument up to a point. It's not necessarily untrue, but there is a problem with that perspective. Because Harry and Meghan have been absolutely damning of Harry's family for standing by and doing nothing. So, in other words, the other royals did nothing because they believed that intervening would only make the situation worse. They're the never explain, never complain brigade. So they don't believe in intervention.
Ah, there it is, folks. That's the excuse that Meghan and Harry are going to use when the time comes that they are backed into a corner and they have to answer for why they are funding and supporting a global terrorist organization called the Sussex Squad. So is Jack trying to distance himself to pretend he doesn't know the Sussex Squad? Perhaps maybe somebody has approached him from MI6 to ask him questions about this group? I wonder if that's the reasoning for this 180 that he's doing right now.
And they might be right or they might be wrong, and people are entitled to judge them if they think that that was the wrong path. But, you know, they are entitled to hold that belief about the world. But it's very different to believing that intervention is good and choosing not to do it. So Harry said to Anderson Cooper in a 60 Minutes interview that there comes a point when silence is betrayal. These were his words about the way that his family responded to his requests for them to take on the media in defense of Meghan. So Harry does think that there's an obligation to speak out and to intervene, and Harry does think that doing so would have a positive impact on the debate. And he doesn't subscribe to never complain, never explain. But he hasn't intervened to help out Kate, even though she has cancer. And, you know, having cancer, it really is a game changer.
Oh, so it was totally fine that Harry and Meghan stayed silent when Omid Scobie had published in his book, Catherine's Name, of being a racist. That was okay because at that time, she didn't have cancer. But now that she has cancer, oh, it's so wrong to go ahead and bully and harass and make up all these conspiracy theories, as opposed to the last 5 years and the stress that Meghan and Harry's fans had been causing on the family's mental and physical safety. I think the better question to ask at this point is, if cancer is such a game changer, then why didn't Harry and Meghan, when the Queen had cancer and was dying, tell the squad to back the fuck off? I think that would have been a great time to write about morality and the dangers of the Sussex Squad. But Jack, you chose to be silent. Now you're bringing it up. I think it's a little late.
Now, I want to say at this point that Harry and Meghan did issue a statement after Kate first announced her cancer, which read, "We wish health and healing for Kate and the family and hope they are able to do so privately and in peace." So there is an implicit suggestion there that the Harry and Meghan fan base should have laid off her, although they haven't said it explicitly.
The only people that actually believe the statement that Harry and Meghan made to Catherine, wishing her well, was done with genuine intentions, are the very same Sussex Squad idiots that only have 2 brain cells to rub together. And Jack, if you honestly believe the shit that's coming out of your mouth, you belong with this group. The damage that Meghan Markle has inflicted on this family is beyond repair. So this statement that Meghan made with malicious intent, in my opinion, was done to agitate and irritate, because the last 5 years, all Meghan did was trouble and harass and pretty much stress out the family to a point where now they're sick. There were so many times that Meghan and Harry could have stepped up and issued statements to where it would have mattered. Issuing a statement right after Meghan allowed Scobie to name Catherine in his book as the racist, to then now voice her care and compassion, falls flat and short, and nobody's buying it or sees that it was of any kind of genuine nature. It was just to keep not only her name in the headlines, but to annoy the shit out of William and Catherine. That's what I believe and why Meghan did it.
But clearly, nobody paid particular attention to those words, and or at least certain significant figures within the Harry and Meghan fandom did not listen to that message.
Oh no, Jack, I am not going to let you make up excuses to let Harry and Meghan off the hook. Who do you think was behind telling the squad what to do? They did listen to Harry and Meghan. They did do what Harry and Meghan wanted. And to think otherwise, well, you know what? You're not that good of a propagandist, because nobody is buying it.
So, why does Harry have to be the bigger person after the way his family treated him? I suppose is the question that people will be asking. So,
no, I don't think that's the question. I think the question is more of why haven't Harry and Meghan been arrested yet for funding and supporting this global terrorist organization? I mean, that's the question on the top of my head. Or at least, can Meghan Markle's name go on the fixated person's threat list? I think her name should be there and should be watched anytime she tries to make it over across the pond.
I think that there is a reason, because he was on the Aspen Institute's Commission on Information Disorder, and he set himself up as a campaigner against misinformation and disinformation. And if you want to be viewed that way, and to have that role, you do have to be the bigger person. Like, that is what it means to be a commissioner on information disorder. You are the bigger person.
How can this guy expect any of us to take what he's saying seriously? This reporter, journalist, propagandist, literally has been regurgitating and recycling Harry and Meghan's lies. And then now saying that Harry needs to step up and be the bigger person.
Being the prince who takes a stand against misinformation brings with it a responsibility for Harry to put himself to one side in service of the public good, because the role that he's performing means that he's supposed to serve the public interest.
The role? Nobody asked him to be the arbiter of truth, nor did we ask him to come here to interfere with our government, Jack.
So it is kind of awkward for me that Harry and Meghan fans have played a role as a kind of driving force in making this period so difficult for Kate when she's been dealing with cancer.
Where was that awkwardness when the Queen was dying, or when Mr. Markle had a stroke, or even worse, when the Sussex squad had been wishing death threats on the Wales's children? Where was your morality and fact-based reporting, Jack?
And the second reason is, well, I mean, it's kind of more simple, but also kind of similarly complex. But if you think about the way that advertising works, many of the adverts you get on TV have very little actually to do with the products they are designed to promote. So the way they work is they tell you a story that's supposed to move you and it's supposed to make you feel something emotionally, and then they just slap their product in at the very end, sometimes in quite a clumsy way, and sometimes it's literally just the brand logo on the end of an advert that's basically telling you a story. And what they're trying to do there is they're trying to make you feel something and then link that emotion almost subliminally to their brand or product. And PR can work in a similar way. So if you have public figures who project positivity, who make people feel positive emotions by going out and doing good things in the world and making people feel happy, then people can come to associate positive emotions with those public figures. On the other hand, if major famous names surround themselves with negativity, then the public can come to associate negative emotions with those public figures. So the difficulty for Harry and Meghan is they had, by constantly criticising the royals, become associated with negative emotions over quite a prolonged period. And over the past year and a half, they've been working quite hard to detoxify, and actually, they've been doing a reasonably good job of it. The tour of Nigeria was fantastic. They did some good positive stuff with the Invictus Games last year. So that, I think, has actually been going well. And the you can see it in the polling of American public opinion that we do here at Newsweek, that Americans are warming to them again.
What about Meghan Markle?
Okay. Am I allowed to be truthful here? I really don't like her.
And what about Meghan Markle? What do you think of her?
I don't know much about her either. She's not, I don't look up to her like I would look up to Kate.
But this very negative streak in their fan base is a hangover from that era, the kind of what I think of as the era of the royal bombshells. And there's a real risk that it will reignite the negative emotions that people had associated with Harry and Meghan.
So here's where Jack has this completely upside down. For starters, America is not warming up to them, so let's not get that fact twisted. America sees them for who they are. Hollywood doesn't even want to touch them, so there is no going back for Meghan Markle. She has ruined herself here. Even if the Sussex squad fade into obscurity, God willing, it's not going to change the fact of how people see Meghan Markle. One, she doesn't have any talent, so that's not going to help her get anywhere. And two, she's already shown us who she really is. So even if her PR people try to rebrand her for the 1,000th time, it's not going to work because she is who she is, and she is the one who continuously keeps sabotaging herself. So, Jack, you may be hopeful that if the Sussex squad somehow goes away, or the problem with the Sussex squad goes away, everything's going to be fine, then you're sorely mistaken. And even if the people like Meghan and Harry end up succeeding with controlling the information on the internet, the truth will always find its way to make it out.
And which they've been trying to move away from. So because it's just latent in the background, there's every chance that people, in my view, but others may disagree, and if you're sitting at home and you want to disagree, feel free to. But my view is that people may well see this stuff on social media, see a picture of Harry and Meghan on the account that's posting it, and think, goodness me, is that really what Harry and Meghan are about these days?
Well, Jack, I hate to break it to you, until Harry and Meghan come forward and address a lot of the stuff that they have done and take some accountability, it's going to continue to keep showing up. Now, as much as I can't stand this little terrorist organization that Meghan and Harry have set up, they're not 100% to blame for Meghan and Harry's unpopularity. You ultimately have to go to the source, and that source are Meghan and Harry. They are the ones who are responsible for the choices and the decisions that they made to result in this outcome of losing everything. It was Meghan who went on Oprah, lied, trashed, and slandered the family. It was Harry who wrote a book and put it out there to lie, trash, and slander the family. Then Meghan colluded with Omid Scobie to lie, slander, and trash the family. And that was just Harry's family. Don't forget, Meghan has her own family to which she has been equally cruel to. The only thing that you can blame the Sussex squad for is really just being a mirror reflection of who Harry and Meghan are, which are really not good people. No amount of PR and rebranding is going to ever be able to change that.
Now, obviously, it does take some bravery for a public figure to take on their own fan base, but Harry and Meghan, they're yet to comment on Kate's return to public life. Like I said, they issued that comment after she revealed that she had cancer. But they could at some point try to work into another interview or something like that, just some positive, supportive comments that denounce the conspiracy theories. I think that is the key element. So they did say that they hoped Kate would be able to recover in peace, but they have never actually said that the conspiracy theorists are wrong.
Don't hold your breath, Jack. Meghan and Harry will never condemn the squad, seeing that they are the ones who are behind supporting it.
That would signal to people that they don't support the way that Kate was treated in a really clear way, and in so doing, it serves to protect them from being damaged reputationally, kind of damaged by association.
Jack, I think it's a little too late for that. From my perspective, there is no PR stunt or gimmick that these two can do in order to repair the damage that they've done to both their reputations. In fact, I only see one option that's left for them, and that option is simply to do nothing. Just go away. Live a quiet life. Maybe in 10 to 15, 20, or even 30 years. Maybe come out and do a commercial or something. But for now, I think the best thing for them to do is just simply disappear and live a quiet and private life. The life that they wanted from the beginning, allegedly. Anyhow, I want to circle back to the post that Jack put up in his article yesterday of the origins of these conspiracy theories from the Sussex squad. Now, this user, Candace Dean, is quite interesting. So, as you can see here, this person posts, confirmed Royal Rota lied. They have been pushing the lie that there are no rota to photograph visitors to the clinic. Looks like Prince William visited his Kate for 15 minutes of her alleged 14-day hospital stay. And then hashtag where's Kate and hashtag is Kate alive. So Jack is saying that this is where it originated and this person is a squatty. So I took some time to look at who this person is. And sure enough, guess who shows up in the following category? And that would be Mr. Ian Sexton. I think it would be a good time for MI6 to pay Ian Sexton a visit. Don't you think? Anyhow, that's all I got for you today. But what do you guys think about this 180 that Jack Royston has done? Well, I'll tell you this much. The Sussex psychos today are not too happy with Jack. Like this one, the Sussex soldier. We ain't going nowhere, Jack. The world has witnessed the abuse and the threatening of Meghan Markle and her children for more than 7 years by racist abusers, including you, Jack. We ain't going nowhere. Come for her, and we'll go after no cancer facelift white deer's Kate. Well, I don't know about you, but to me, guys, that looks like a threat, and maybe MI6 should be aware of this Looney Tunes. If you're on X, go ahead and report this one. Let MI6 know that the Sussex squad are threatening once again. Do you think Meghan is behind this black propaganda, or do you think that someone visited Jack and asked him some questions about his association with this terrorist organization? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts below. But as always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Such a fraud.